Yes, that's me in the clip you just saw. I'm curious, what did you notice while watching it? On second thought, let's come back to this question in a bit, as I believe it is important for you to know me and my story before that. So, let's dive right in. You might have noticed something different about me the moment you saw me. It's okay, I don't mind acknowledging it. I do look quite stunning in black, don't I? Okay, enough beating around the bush. Let me just say it out loud. I was not very old when my parents had to take the disheartening decision of amputating my right forearm to eliminate a life threatening condition. That one circumstance has altered the course of my life ever since. You might believe that my life up until now might have been completely different due to this fact, but let me assure you, it's not. If I were to describe it using a single word, I would choose the word normal. Growing up, I had questions about myself and the world like every other child has. There have been moments when I would get frustrated about how I have to take the strenuous way out to do the most trivial of tasks sometimes. But as you grow older, you get calmer and learn to accept yourself just the way you are. After countless back and forth with insecurities and self-doubt, I eventually learned the method of accepting myself just the way I am and not let it hinder my capability. Despite all of this, there is an issue that I still cannot resolve. It is the society's perception of me and my body. While introducing myself, I call myself ambitious Isha, which is who I am most of the time. But ambition stems from true passion and a sense of purpose, which I've only ever felt at the highest of intensity for my academics. Yeah, you heard me right. Academics. This passion was triggered by one particular incident back when I was in nursery and had forgotten to do my homework. As a result of which, I ended up receiving something my sister and I call the dreaded red fish in my notebook from my teacher. As inconsequential as that little mark on my notebook sounds, it was sufficient to make young Isha scared enough to make up her mind to never miss another homework or assignment in her life. Now you might believe that this passion arises from overcoming the fear of her beloved redfish or the fact that I've found myself securing a rank in school followed by the time I topped the Mumbai region in my HSC exam. But I beg to differ. Yes, those ranks, awards and validations do motivate me to focus and strive in terms of academics. But it is the process that excites me the most. I'm a firm believer of the fact that unless you enjoy the process, you could never excel in a field. When you thoroughly enjoy the process along with focusing on your ultimate goal, you could even swim through a 7-hour long lecture effortlessly. Speaking of which, let me introduce you to my journey of becoming a mermaid. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant a swimmer. My journey of becoming a swimmer. I started swimming in 5th grade, participated in my first tournament in 8th grade, and then there was no turning back. Only goals to set and achieve. My swimming routines and practices are almost identical to what every other swimmer goes through. One might believe that my hand might hinder my ability to do such physical activities and workouts, but it usually isn't the case. Though it might slow me down a bit in a few strokes, it doesn't drastically affect my performance. I have participated in district, state, and national level paraswimming events, various other tournaments, and also in DSO competing with non-para athletes. The best thing about competitions is the complete spirit of sportsmanship that fills there. I have always found support and healthy competition from all those whom I competed against, and I found it as a great opportunity to socialize and network with people from different walks of life. Another important lesson swimming has taught me is that you win some and you lose some. But at times, as all humans do, I too get demotivated by defeat. And in those moments, a little blue fish from my childhood comes to me singing. You know what you gotta do when life gets you down? Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. But I cannot take all the credit now, can I? One of the first golden rules that we are taught while learning accountancy states, debit the receiver and credit the giver. And I cannot go without giving due credits to my pillars of support. To a great degree, the values that a child imbibes comes from the parenting that they receive. I grew up in a household where I had the familiarity to be myself without any hesitation or doubt, and the independence to pursue whatever I had my heart in. When it comes to my parents, whom I consider my first pillar of support, they were never the ones to worry about my grades or my performance in school. They believed in letting me and my sister learn our lessons by ourselves while they made sure they were with us every step of the way. My parents are my armor, protecting me from harm while helping me to stand up straight and proud of myself, making sure I adjusted well with the others, that I don't face any difficulty that other children wouldn't. They are the embodiment of strength, support, and stability in my life. It is not easy to have a child who is different from others. You face a bunch of questions that can become bothersome, be it intentional or not. My parents tussled every day to avoid every judgment or misconception that came my way and never let it become an obstacle for me. They handled the outside world and me so well, I wouldn't be entirely wrong in calling them executives working on the joint function of HR and PR in my life. The next pillar of support, and perhaps the most important one for me, is my sister. A sibling relationship may reasonably be a complicated one, with differences of opinion and a clash of interests, but that was never the case with us. Even though we sometimes argue over pointless things, she has always been my beacon of motivation, my confidant, one who constantly pushes me to do better while catering to my smallest of needs, making sure I am comfortable wherever I am. It is said that it is easy to find support within the four walls of a house. But when you step outside, the circumstances turn difficult. But what I experienced was nowhere similar to the safe statement. My teachers have always been a pillar of support for me outside my home. Growing up, I used to wear a prosthetic arm, and on request, I remember a few of my teachers coming home to learn how it worked so that they could help me to put it on while I was in the school premises. It's this level of determination, understanding, and empathy that instilled confidence in me while growing up and has led me to respect them as much as I do. The last pillar of support that keeps me afloat are my coaches, who recognized what I was capable of and pushed me towards all the opportunities waiting for me to seize them. My national level coach made me understand what tough love is. Sometimes you need your coach to be tough and demanding of you to push your limits and do better consistently. After an intense practice session, when my mother would come up to offer me some water, he would stop her, saying, "Children don't tire easily. It is not good to condition them to think that they need help because the best performance and stamina comes out only when they have been pushed to their very limits." There was a time when I came second in the swimming competition, and my coach rejoiced as if I had won a grand title. Something he had said then still echoes in my heart. जो पहिला असतो त्याच्यासमोर कोणीच नसतं, पण जो दुसरा असतो त्याच्यासमोर एक एम असतं की जो पहिला आला आहे तेवढी उंची मला गाठायची आहे, पण प्रथम आलेल्यालाही त्याचं स्थान टिकवून ठेवण्याचं आव्हान असतं. If I were to translate it to English, it would mean, there is no one in front of the one who comes first, but there is always an aim in front of the one who comes second. The aim to reach as high as the first one. But for those who come first, their challenge is to maintain their position. Swimming has also taught me to be grateful for all that I have instead of dwelling on the negatives. There is a concept of disability paradox that states how most people think a person with a disability like me lives an unhappy life. On the contrary, my life couldn't be more normal and happy. It is true that I am at a disadvantage when it comes to certain tasks like tying my shoelaces or styling my hair into a ponytail. But I feel my disability has helped me to become stronger in ways I wouldn't have otherwise imagined. I think differently abled individuals are actually disabled by society's perception more than by their diagnosis. People tend to see my disability even before they see me, which means that their mind goes to all the things that I cannot do instead of all the things that I can do. This often has me wondering, what is normal and who decides it? The more I ponder on it, the more solid the idea becomes that normal is just a word as subjective as a person's taste in movies, color, food, or music. To conceive this idea, I look at normal as a plane in equilibrium, perfectly balanced, perfectly stable. For most people, this plane is flat and even, making it easy for them to walk on it. But for me, the same plane seems to be lopsided. Instead of having the benefit of walking on a steady plane, I have to climb it. Walking and climbing are two different processes to reach the same end, one being less exertive than the other. So just because climbing is slightly more taxing than walking, does it make climbing an anomaly? Or does it make it special? Can we ever fix either walking or climbing under the label of normal? I think not. There are some strokes in water that I just cannot make. There are few objects that need me to have a firmer grip. Most of the time, some additional effort into usual tasks is all that it takes. Not being able to do a certain task on account of inability is common for all of us. The difference just lies in what the task is. A few face difficulty in remembering, a few cannot manage their finances, and some others are not as accomplished in their academics. Everyone has their shortcomings, and imperfections are what make us human. As a child, I learned that everyone has to work towards molding their identity of what they aspire to be and what they want to be known and remembered for. I see myself as fortunate when it comes to that. The knack for academics, along with my proficiency in numbers, helped me to become certain at an early stage that I wanted to be a CA when I grew up. I am just like the others in my peer group. I study for the same marks any determined and aspiring CA student would. Contrary to how difficult society presumes my life to be, I live a perfectly normal life with affectionate parents, a caring sister, and a group of supportive friends who never make me feel any less than they are. I was subjected to neither preferential treatment nor differential treatment, and that has played an integral part in shaping me and my attitude that I have today. If someone would ask me whether I would want to wish for a different life or to be in a different situation, my answer to that would be a no without a second thought. This is the idea of normalcy for a girl with earnest dreams trying to become successful in her life. There is something, however, something I always wish people would try to understand from my perspective. I do not consider myself disabled. I am just another human who needs your consideration and assurance rather than your sympathy and disheartenment. Being a person who is slightly different than others does not make me a sight of pity or unusualness. I identify myself as normal, someone who embraces her individuality, because what is normalcy but what we define for ourselves? Coming back to the question I started off with. I leave you with a slightly different question. What do you notice now? My abilities or my disability?